Hello everyone, it's nice to see you again. This is Discussing the Undiscussed. Welcome to Fact Over Sentiment. Today is a very unique interview because we are going to be having the interviewee interview the interviewer. Today, I am your host and I am Comfort Ogechi. And with me here
is Samuel Adeyemi.
Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. I'm already feeling tense.
Yeah. That's how you make me feel too, and every other person. So straight up today, we are going to be discussing one very key personality, and that is a controversial person. My lovely guest right here, he's one typical example of what you will say a controversial person is, or who a controversial person is, because we've seen that someone who is controversial can be in different spheres. There are some that has to do in the government, some in maybe politics, economy. He is a controversial being in the media industry, gospel ministry, gospel movies, gospel music, anything that has to do with filming and directing. He's one strong critic there. So I'm going to be asking him what he thinks about himself, why he chose to be a controversial person, or how he got to discover that he has a controversial personality. So let's go together. Please drop your questions too on the comment section, and don't be scared to ask him whatever you want to ask. So, briefly, tell me about yourself.
That's a whole lot too. Okay, so my name is Samuel Adeyemi. I'm a filmmaker. I write faith-based content. I also write what I call secular, but it has to be moral-based. So that's part of what looks controversial, because a lot of people feel like you are in the gospel faith, gospel film productions, and you are still saying you write for what we call the secular and all that. So that's I do a lot of things. I also write. I've trained a lot of writers in various countries, yes, and sometimes I get to forget the things that I do, because I also do MC also.
Wow.
Yeah. So basically, the media is a place that I found myself, and also in the pulpit ministry. Yeah.
Okay. So, as a person, how would you describe yourself if you were to see a type of yourself out there?
Did I get that question right? Okay, as a person, I would describe myself. I think I just said that now. Of course, a public speaker as well. Am I on track? I don't know if that's the question.
No.
Okay.
You describe to me right now what you do.
Yes.
So I don't asked about how you see yourself. That's your personality.
Okay, my personality.
Yes,
okay, so personally, I'm a sanguine by temperament, and that makes me to be an extroverted person. However, I can also switch to being a melancholic, so to say. So when I get from place, I just try to withdraw and observe. Then also, but from the controversial point of view, well, you decided to call it controversial, and maybe I would accept it because it's fact over sentiment based on this context.
Okay.
But for me, I just think I'm just being real. So that's the kind of person I am.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So before I completely dive in, when we talk about personality, as believers, we also have to look at the place where the Holy Spirit controls your life. So can you say most of the times, or all of the times if possible, most ideas, most choices, and most decisions you make are not from your personality traits, but you can say that you are led by the Spirit of God?
Okay, yeah, I would say I'm led by the Spirit of God. But actually, in things of the Spirit, it's always progressive, and we are always growing. Because I've had to see reasons why I thought that it's God that led me to take an action. I wouldn't want to go there now. But I discovered that it's not it's not God. So, but basically, I think I'm submitted to learning and following the leading of the Holy Spirit. So, of course, despite my personality, I'm still submitted to the Holy Spirit.
Okay, so let's give a scenario, and you are in the midst of a group of people, and then everybody is saying one thing that ought to be done, and then you come up and say something that's totally different, and let's say almost everyone disagrees with you. What will you do in that kind of situation?
Well, I'll try to let them know the reality of the reason why I want them to see from that point of view. But there's something that I've discovered, that even though I let them to see the reason why mine should stand, not because it's me, but I think it's just the reality, because sometimes I feel people make decisions from sentiment. Like they don't want to be real to themselves. They just try to want to be in the good book of people. They want to follow, what everyone is saying, just for favoritism as well. So I feel if I'm able to convince them, fine. But if I'm not, there's nothing I can really do at that point in time, because if I'm not in the position of authority fully, of course one can lead from below. But if I'm not in the position of authority fully, the level of influence can be low. Meanwhile, it's not like it's low, because a seed has been sown. Because later on, I believe they will get to know that what this guy has said is actually real.
Okay. Who is a controversial person?
A controversial person. Well, you brought it up, calling me a controversial person. So I would have loved to say, what did you actually see that made you to think I'm a controversial person? But to just answer the question, to be fair, a controversial person is someone that does not really follow the general norm or the pattern that people expect for you to follow. People expect you to, just like the school system now. School study, you pass, and then you just keep following the rules they've given to you. But thank God, creatively, from the art point of view, though I am a science student, or I was a science student while I was in secondary school, and I broke into the arts. And there's a rule that I know in arts, like rules can be broken once you're in the art. So a controversial person in this context is one that can break out of the norm without following the particular order that people want. Not as if he's doing something wrong, but he just wants to, think out of the box. If I'm not thinking out of the box, throwing the box away.
Throwing the box away.
Yes.
Someone who does something out of the norm, who doesn't follow through a path where maybe others are going, or let's say many are going, who follows through, like sometimes you might say, these people are like lone wolves. All right. Now, as I progress further, one of the questions I want to ask is, in leadership or in community living, or let's say leadership, or in fellowship of brethren, like you have people you have to work with and all, and most importantly leadership, don't forget, we know that for you to be a good leader, one of the things you have to have is communication skills, being able to carry people along, being able to have the heart of others at heart, and even understand them when they are not maybe wanting to go your way. So do you think a controversial person is a good leader?
Yeah, a controversial person should be a good leader. Or for me, do I really stick to myself, or I should just answer it generally?
You're speaking for all the controversial people on
wow.
right now.
Okay. So, I think a controversial person should be a controversial person who is real and genuine. Should be a good leader, so long he has emotional intelligence, is empathetic, or have the ability to be able to see, or is empathetic and also sympathetic also. But in this context, empathetic has the ability to be able to see from other people's or other person's perspective. So if he or she should be able to, have these two basic traits, and also know why people act the way they do. I think I lost that question now.
No, you're currently on track. Okay. If you can be a leader.
Yes. So that's such a person should be able to, be a leader.
You mentioned something. If the controversial person is genuine and true, so it means there are instances where a person who is controversial is not genuine and true.
Yes, because most time, people are always attracted to like self-glorification, and they just want people to just see them. They don't want to be real to themselves. For example, maybe in relationship now, this is where I'm avoiding to go, but I don't know what has brought me there. So I'll use as an example. A man can desire a female, and he wants to start mentoring her. And then he could decide to mentor her for his purpose, and he also could decide to mentor her for his purpose and also for the reality of that female. I'm using man now as perspective, so or maybe this is one of the things that's happened to me in reality, so I'm just opening up now. Okay, so now, Jesus. All right, so can I be real here?
This is fact over sentiment.
Okay, so there are people that want to train persons for just their purpose alone, but I've got to realize, I've told someone that I think God was leading me to before in the past, that see, even though you don't get married to me, married to someone that is also highly intellectual, someone that is purposeful, and someone that is real. So controversial persons who are real should be real, but there are some controversial persons that are just trying to be sentimental because of their own purpose. So okay. I don't know, maybe I made sense.
Yeah, you did. Okay. So based on what you described now, I also noticed that people who are controversial have less friends. They have friends who think like them, because sometimes even me personally, I just feel like if I see a controversial person, I'm like, what comes to my mind is like, this person likes arguments and this person is bossy. He just wants people, or she just wants people to just go through her own way. And I used to, like, if you remember the last time we had an interview, I told you, for me, I would say I'm a diplomatic person, even though I know some things that diplomatic people do that shouldn't be. So it's like me wanting to change the narrative and learn and see how I can allow the Holy Spirit not just say, okay, I'm a diplomatic person, but know that I am controlled by the Spirit of God, because I believe everyone has a personality. Yes, and it's that you let yourself to the Lord and He transforms you. So for controversial people, I notice, like I said, less friends, only controversial, like-minded persons they have as friends. So do you
But I have you as a friend, so
am I your friend?
okay. You said bossy also.
I used to feel their bossy. Well, one of the things, like I was saying the last time, was that I got to understand you. I got to understand your perspective. I might not always agree with some, but because what's most important is that love and peace is there. And coming to learn that not everybody should think like me or be like you. Just enjoy the betterment, the better part of this person, and that there are times when I will need somebody who is, especially when maybe you know as a lady, or maybe not as a lady, but sometimes when you are wanting to overly think by your emotions, you need someone who can actually say the truth to you point blank. Yes. So now we need those kind of people in this world, especially in the body of Christ. But they don't have much people that want to listen to them or have them as friends. What do you think about that? Is it that controversial people are hated, or nobody wants to listen to them because they feel like they are not trying to listen to other people?
You see, the Bible has said it actually in Luke 6:26. It says, "Woe unto you if all men speak well of you." So for me, and for the controversial people who are real, I think they shouldn't feel bad that maybe people are not accepting them and something like that, because it even happened in the time of Jesus Christ also. People love darkness more than light, so it's normal. Although people who are not controversial are not necessarily the wrong persons as well, but in this context of controversial people find it difficult to easily accept change. It's just this pattern. People were easily streamlined to following one pattern, one direction, another. So I think anybody that is controversial and is genuine shouldn't look at himself or herself and feel bad like people are not attracted to him. Because for me, I'm always excited about the level of friends that I have. However, I yearn for friends who are genuine. So it's not like when I say I don't have friends, then I'm so excited. Like, I do want to have friends, but I just want people who are genuine, so that we'll be able to together we're going to change the world. Like they said, together everyone achieves more.
Very correct. Okay, so it is not, you are trying to say now that it is not that controversial people think of themselves more highly than others.
Yes.
They don't.
They don't
exhibit, the real controversial people don't exhibit any form of pride.
Okay, you see, this issue of pride that you are bringing up here again, I share with some of my brethren. I said there's a thin line between pride and boldness, or pride and courage. So sometimes when people who are controversial, because they are have a lot of content and intellect and all that, so whenever they are speaking or doing something, people see them as if they are proud. But for those who are really broken by the Spirit of the Lord, they are not proud. Do you understand? And for me personally also, bringing myself in this context, when I speak with people sometimes who I feel are real, they may not be controversial, I just ask them like, what do you think about me? Like, do I sound proud? And I'm saying that to be able to check myself. And I trust in whatever it is they are saying, that okay, if they say it's proud. But so far, I've not really, that I would be able to remember, I've not really had someone saying that, okay, you are proud. I mean, talking to friends and all that, I've not really had them say. But I know that people have that notion. I've always believed that, and I know that people used to have that mindset. I've had people saying someone should be careful. Like, I've had someone, like a father, telling somebody else that should be careful of me because of this issue of controversial stuff and all that. So, but I'm not sure that's related to pride, anyway, in my opinion.
Okay. So then, if you as a person now, let's say, let me first ask this. Have you ever in your entire life, in this lifestyle or this choice of, I'm going to do something outside of the norm, not bad, but good, have you ever made a mistake before? Or have you ever, in all those things you thought that were right and it was actually wrong, made a mistake?
Well, so far, if I check through my track, record, I'm still in my growing phase. I've not really regretted some what's it called, basic and very very key action as it were. Because for example, this might not necessarily look controversial, but to some person it is people who are in the ministry, people feel they shouldn't get into politics, but for me, I'm involved, what's it called, or I even once contested, and I have people telling me then that I should just face the ministry and all that. I never regretted. I didn't win, but for me, I see that I won the out of the people who trusted me and feel like it is God's will for me to be there. However, the bigger picture, maybe sometimes when we get to heaven, we're going to ask some of those questions like, okay, well, I thought you were leading me and all that, but I have no regrets taking that step. And every other decision that I've made as well, that appears to be controversial to people, I do critiquing. I critique gospel movies, and to some extent, some people see it as if, in fact, in one of the comment sections, somebody was saying that I do not know Christ, I do not know the Lord. So, but I've never felt bad. In fact, it's something that I even want to see people put in their comment there, and let me even see other perspective as well. So I'm not sure, and I can't pinpoint something that I've had a regret on being controversial, if I would say so.
Okay, so peradventure, if at any time here, especially in the missions. By the way, we're currently filming live from Ajumani. This young man here is one of the volunteers, and I myself also, of Exalting Jesus Life Missions, volunteering to serve the South Sudanese, Congolese, Kenyans, and Ugandan refugees here in the northern part of Uganda. So we are filming live from Ajumani district. So here right now, let's say you make a mistake. How would you take correction?
Well, like mistake in what context?
Let's say maybe you give a suggestion or an idea or what you perceive or you think is right and we should do. At the end of the day, maybe when it's vetted or maybe when it is done, it ends up being, let us say wrong, but something that it could have gone another way. Like, would you also say you're a teachable person?
Yes, I'm very, very teachable because I love to learn and I love to ask questions. Okay. So I'm very teachable. Though from the exterior, people feel like this person is not someone that you can.
Me too. I had that notion, like, because I used to say all these guys. Like I told you, I feel your personality. You guys are way over your head. So I feel you guys know everything, and that's one of the things sometimes that gets for me. As I mean now, before, not now. I'm like, this one, you're just way over your head. There's nothing you can tell this person. If he said this is what it is, that is what it is. I had that thought.
Yeah, so we are just, what's it called? To me, we are go-getters. So that's what makes it to be as appear as if maybe we don't want to listen to any other person and all that. So, but back to what you were saying, maybe I'm very teachable. I listen to people who are real. Like I keep saying, I don't like it when people are just sentimental with their decisions. Because sometimes when I tell people, if people are advising you, ask yourself, what does this person stand to gain? Is this person genuinely neutral, giving this counsel or this advice? So for me, when it appears like I didn't take people's correction as it were, it's because I sense that there's a level of sentiment to what they are saying. But generally, people who have been close to me or who I intentionally say, okay, I want to listen to, I listen to them. I get to ask questions from people like, okay, what is this? What can I do in this area and all that? Recently, something happened more personal about my life. Of course, like it's fact over something about a relationship issue. I've not been in a relationship before. Anyway, in case you want to ask, so let me quickly say that clear now. So, but I thought, okay, let me not go in details now. But to say this, I had to inquire from someone that I trust and ask him about a basic question and all that, and he guided me. So I'm open to learning. So I don't feel I know everything.
Okay, now you said you don't like people who are sentimental in their decisions.
Yes.
Is it wrong? Like, what is being sentimental? What is being empathetic? Is it wrong to sympathize or consider when you see a situation that it's kind of emotional, or maybe there's a decision that you have to take so that it can be convenient for someone else? Because taking from our Lord Jesus Christ, whenever he wanted to preach, he looked at the people after he finished preaching and he was moved to so much sympathy, and he said, let's do this, let's do that, and all. So is it wrong to be sentimental sometimes?
Well, it's sentimental is different from being compassionate. So because if we begin to look at it deeper now, there's a place, is it John the Baptist or Jesus Christ that said, you generation of vipers? So I think it's Jesus Christ also used that statement. John the Baptist. John the Baptist said that. But there are places also that Jesus Christ will just give them one sharp word and tell his disciples that, see, don't follow these guys. Don't follow. He's just saying it straight away. So he's not trying to mince word and try to sugarcoat or something. talking. The issue is don't sugarcoat, but we are all emotional beings. We have emotions. I just told you about an issue of tending
Do you
towards.
have emotions?
Yes, because somebody has asked me before actually that
Okay.
am I what's it called, that she felt I'm not what's it called, I don't have emotion. I felt like wow. So I don't know how people are beginning to see from this part. So for you to ask again, yeah, I do have emotions. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I have emotions.
Okay, so it is not wrong for you.
Okay, so yeah, to answer,
sometimes
so I feel to answer that question, you are not supposed to be sentimental in giving people counsel. Let it be. See, if somebody's relationship and the person wants to go into perdition, tell the person, see, I understand you, I know what love is. Because I'm giving a practical example. I've told the lady that way, who is somewhat quote and unquote a little accounted to me. So I told her, see, this thing you are going to is wrong for you and all that. So after some time, I asked her, have you withdrawn? She said she doesn't know, it's not easy. I said, I know it's not easy. I said, but at the end of the day, you'll be the one to regret. I don't know how to pamper it. Maybe that's where people feel like we're proud of. Let's just tell the people what is right, so that at the end of the day, we will not start feeling. They won't start feeling like. Don't just pamper them. Don't pamper. Let people know the truth. You can find a steady way to say it, but let them just know the truth. Don't try to mince word for them.
Okay, all right. So I understand that clearly. When it means that you are being sentimental, what he said, according to my understanding, is that don't sugarcoat things. If this is plain, say it plainly. If there's a place where you sympathize and be emotional, to share how that person is feeling and all. And I want to believe that you guys do your own in a different way.
You see, I don't know if I should say yes or no, because I just remember something now. You see, if let's use this example. I love to say it very well. If a sister should come to the house of God and say she fell in love with what's it called, an unbeliever, and then but this man is very good and all that, can I go ahead and marry? You see that everybody will just shout, for me, who people even think I'm controversial, I wouldn't say anything. So it shows that I'm empathetic. Like, I want to really understand why she wants to take that step. So I even listen. I try to hear like, oh, really? But some people, they'll just flare up. So it shows that in fact they are just being sentimental. But just listen to the person, calm down. So I'm still trying to emphasize that I am someone that is emotionally stable to some extent.
Okay.
At least I've grown in that area.
Okay. So what he's trying to say is that only controversial people are emotionally stable people.
No, I didn't really say that. I don't know. Maybe you should tell us what about yourself. If that, though I know I'm the one on the hot seat here, quote and unquote, but for me, I'm speaking for myself, and I'm speaking on behalf of all the people who are controversial and who are genuine. Keep being real. You guys are doing well.
Don't listen to him. I know he will want to try to make controversial people feel like they are on the top of the food chain, but that's not true.
Self-esteem is very important,
Self-esteem that is beyond the normal is pride. So don't listen to him, but don't mind him. It's not just for the controversial people, it's for all of us to learn and see where we can be better. I am also growing, is to see where you two can be better in your relationship with people, in your work that has been committed into your hand, not just God, your boss, and all those things, to ensure that we have matured minded people on earth. So some more questions before we call it a day today. These two persons, a diplomatic person and a controversial person, who do you think the world needs as a leader? A diplomatic person, a controversial person?
Well, today I just watched the movie, which I wouldn't call the title because it's a movie I thought I would critique, but I didn't find it really. Okay, fact over sentiment. Let's talk about the book of Esther. Esther is a book that doesn't talk about Jesus or God as it were. I want to answer your question, so I'm going sorry. Now, it didn't talk about Jesus, it didn't talk about God. So while I watched something related to that story, I discovered that means one can be diplomatic actually, not just going straight and saying something has to be like, okay, if you are traveling to a place now, even as a missionary, you may not necessarily use the word missionary, you can just say you're a peace ambassador and all that. So there's a place of diplomacy.
Okay.
You understand, which is very, very good. Like, you're not going directly, but with the mindset that you see it the nail on the head. So, but if you are being diplomatic from the point that you don't want to offend, no, I don't subscribe to that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, for me, the world needs people who are diplomatic in this context of they find a way to penetrate, and then at the end of the day, they stand tall with the reality. That's the world needs them, and then the world also needs people who are controversial from beginning, so that even though you want to, let me use the word, do anyhow, you want to pass your boundary, you already know that, oh, there's this controversial person that is here. If I want to say this, it might go against it. So the world needs both people together.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Sincerely, that speaks very clearly the whole emphasis of everything. It's trying to tell you that you shouldn't stand on who you think you are by yourself, but stand on whom God can make you be. He just said, it is good we have both persons together, and it's by human power. Somebody cannot be two personalities at once, but the Spirit of the Lord can make you to become what you need to be at that time. He makes you into a perfect being. The whole goal is to make you be like Christ. Christ is a very, very good example of what leadership should be. He wasn't sentimental or sugar-coated anything he needed to say. When the Pharisees were there, he needs to speak to them. He talks to them very clearly and straightforward. Where he needed to be sympathetic or empathetic towards the people he was leading, he was.
You know, just the time he even saw it because I even said, give to Caesar what belongs to
Caesar.
If I'm right, I'll see that like a diplomacy, what's it called, point of view. So both sides, Christ even fits into both sides also.
Yes, because we have certain persons who take pride in who they think they are. Oh, I'm this kind of person. This is who I am. Nothing can. No. Sometimes you find out that you can lose relationships, you can lose loyalty, you can lose certain things just because of one thing that you might just be missing out. So today, we're just trying to emphasize that. Don't say this is who I am, but say I am whom the Spirit of the Lord has made me to be. So, one question that you will not be able to plead the fifth against, but you will definitely answer. Okay, there are two now. You mentioned that you critique gospel movies and music and all.
Yeah, basically movies.
Movies.
Yes.
Okay. So why do you choose to criticize gospel movie?
Yeah.
Wait, because I believe that those people who got the inspiration to produce or write that movie, they were inspired by the Spirit of God.
Yes.
Is there any place where man came in and wrote, which I believe maybe in the directing and how we should go and all, there was something there? Imagine if you were Noah and you were asked to build the ark, and then maybe you are one of his sons and you say that there's a tar pit here. You didn't do this thing where this has to be, but he got the instruction from God.
Yeah.
And then you are now saying, oh, this is not supposed to be here and all. So why did you choose to do that? Is it, I want to know the motive behind it.
You know, before I answer directly, but I'm already answering anyway. You know, if you are preaching, if you are not, God has given you what to say, what to pray, depending on how you hear from God. But if you are not careful, there are sometimes that flesh will come in and you want to speak about yourself. Okay. If you are not guided. So that is what it means, that even though you receive a fresh idea from the Lord in script or movie in this context, after it's being produced or whatever it is, you know, when you release it out, you will discover that there's still going to be errors because there's a place of flesh that may come up there. Do you understand? In that context. So critiquing it is not to demean people's work, actually. It's just to bring out the best. I just love to see excellence. And I critique from screenwriting point of view. I don't even talk about the camera movement. I don't talk about anything. Just to be about screenwriting because it's my own area. It's my field. I'm a professional at this. I call myself a screenplay god. That's why some people feel like I'm still proud. When I say screenplay god, G-O-D, I mean, we are God. So if I'm a screenplay god, I'm a god. That's what I'm doing. So I speak about, and moreover, it's just more of the gospel. I also do a little of secular, but you know, many of their content are not what to be, so to say. Some of the content, let me not say many, that's going to be generalization. Some of the content are not what to be critiqued, so I just focus on the gospel, and I want it to be best. A lot of people are learning from it, so those who feel I'm demeaning their work.
You just mentioned something now that those who think you are demeaning their work, they should mature into it and then understand what it is. That's one of the things I have with controversial people. You guys expect that somebody should know what it should be and not. Now, if you do not explain yourself,
yes,
after you finish critiquing a video, if you don't explain yourself or explain to those who misunderstand you, how do you expect them to understand that you are not demeaning, but you're trying to make their work better?
You see, even the truth is, even though I do not explain myself, this is the reality. Once you see that somebody has said this thing is supposed to be put here and the other one is supposed to put here, forget how I said it. The major focus about life is for us to learn. So because for me, there's no how people speak to me, people tell me maybe I didn't dress well or I didn't do something well. The next thing I'm supposed to know how to do is that, okay, what do I do to improve? So So whether they tell me that it's because they love me that they are saying this, or because they hate me, like for me personally, I really do not care. So maybe that's the mindset that I also carry, like doing what I'm doing and then finding a way that I really do not care. And I hope you will not shoot me at the leg that said I don't care because I'm not emotional. I am emotional actually. So well, I just people should grow into these things. That's just, let's just have an open mind. That's the basic thing. Have an open mind and you'll be able to. And you see, one of my what's it called teacher who taught me first in theater, he said criticism is the food of stars. Criticism. So if people are criticizing you, I mean, you should know that you are a star. Stop. Let people just upgrade. These are things that, you know, I love when people talk about me, because people, I get to know where I'm supposed to learn from, and then that's all.
Okay. Last question. How well will a controversial person do in his marriage or her marriage?
Wow. That's a very serious question. How well, like, I need to say that question again so that I will be able to reflect very well. Just repeat the question while I'm trying to mute.
How well will a controversial person do in his or her marriage?
I mean, a controversial person has to really grow in that place of emotional, you know, stability and all that. Because I feel if I'm speaking from the man perspective towards a woman, if the man is a controversial person, I mean, he has to find a way to really by the way, controversial people, thumbs up CEO. This is because the way, I don't know, the way they are just calling controversial people as if maybe we are very good people. So, but they just have to find a way to let their spouse know that this is what they want, and they should not appear rigid, because there's a place of rigidity, because they are just goal oriented. Sometimes they just want to focus on the goal and let us achieve this. So they will do well if they are also submissive to learning, if they are open to learning, if they are open to hearing feedback. So because for me, like I said, I'm very open to hearing feedback. So when people tell me that, oh, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, I mean, I feel like, okay, I need to improve the next time. So they should just be submissive. You get, whether male or female, just be submissive. When you are submissive and you are humble, you'll be able to learn, and then know how to also help your spouse. But however, they also need someone that is understanding. Yes, a woman or a man that is understanding. So I'm speaking for myself now. I need a woman that is also understanding. I'm not a bad person, in case my future wife is watching this now, or I don't know. All right, I won't say anything about this.
He's kind of advertising himself.
Yes, of course. I'm still single. Yes, I'm single.
These are one of the things that. All right.
Yeah.
So sincerely, I believe that this interview today has really taught you something. It teaches you, or for me, it has taught me on how to be better, on how to improve myself, on how to allow the Lord, by His Spirit, to make me to be like Him. It means that I would not be biased. I'll be straightforward. I would not sugarcoat the truth. I will say the truth. If I have to be understanding, I will. If I have to call a spade, I will. If I have to say, okay, now I want to understand you, let me listen. Are controversial people listeners? Are they good listeners?
The little time we've had together, do you think I listen?
Okay, yeah, he listens. So, this is not about you being controversial. This is about you being a child of God. So, yeah. I know you are the mentor of all controversial people.
Jesus.
So please.
I'm not. I'm out.
Yeah, you're not out. You are in here with me.
Okay.
So please strive as much as possible to be better, to be who God wants you to be. Find your person. Don't try to imitate someone else's behavior or someone else's character. Find your person. So try your best to be the God-defined person that you ought to be. Thank you very much. I'm so glad this.
You see, before you go, you can imagine now. We started recording earlier again, and then before you know, because of let me quickly expose that a little. She didn't come early. Now the day is already dark, so that's why I see. If this video is dark again, it's not my fault. Now it's on her now. It's just like the controversial people are goal oriented. Okay, so.
I refuse to stand up, because if I stand up, so many secrets will be exposed. But let's keep it hidden. So thank you very much for joining us today. We hope to see you another time. And this is Fact Over Sentiment. If there are any discussions or any topics you want us to talk about, please leave it in the comment section, and kindly subscribe to Passionate Films and
Passionate Media.
Thank you so very much. The Lord bless you. Bye.